Hello students, in this chapter logic, in the previous module, you learnt about logical equivalence. Yes class, and you also learnt that conditional and contrapositive statements are equivalent while converse and inverse statements are equivalent. Yes class, but now in this module, you are going to solve a sum which is based on this property. Yes class, in this module you are going to solve sum which is based on logical equivalence. Ready for it? Here we start with the question. Here the question is, you have been given some statements and what you have to do is simply find the statements having same meanings. Okay class, same meanings. Now I have the statements in front of you where you have first, second, third and fourth statement in front of you. And if you observe in all these four statements, there is one thing in common. And that one thing in common is if then. If you observe, there is if then connector present in all four of them. Okay, yes class. Now we are going to get the symbolic form for each of the statement. So for the first question, here if you observe, if then connective is present. And if then connective means we are going to put implication connective, that is one-sided arrow. After that, if you get the statements from this, simple statements from this, simple statements are a student is hardworking, which can be taken as P statement. He will pass in the examination will be taken as Q statement. We'll also write them down. P is a student is hardworking, while Q is a student will pass in the examination. Remember class, you never put a pronoun in the simple statement. So, is it very simple for you to get the symbolic form? It is simply P implies Q. Absolutely right. Now, we have obtained the symbolic form for the first statement. In the same way, we are going to get the symbolic form for the second statement as well. If you observe, again, if then connective is present, that simply means we'll put an implication symbol. After that, if you observe, your P statement is a student is hardworking, and there we have a student is not hardworking. Due to not, there is a negation symbol present here. Yes or no? After that, we have Q statement, which is a student will pass in the examination. Due to that, your he will not pass in the examination will become negation Q. And how do we get the symbolic form class? The symbolic form will be given as negation P implies negation Q. Yes class. In the same way, the third one, if then connective is present and therefore implication symbol. After that, a student passes in the examination and that simply means it is nothing but your Q statement if you observe. Yes. After that, we have he is hardworking. Hardworking means it is your P statement. Now it is if Q then P, and therefore the symbolic form will be given as Q implies P. Understood class? So this is the symbolic form we have obtained. After that, again for the fourth statement, we have if then connective, that means implication symbol. After that, we have first statement as a student does not pass in the examination. Does not. That means negation Q. Next one is nothing but he is not hardworking. That means negation P. And therefore, your answer, that is symbolic form, will be given as negation Q implies negation P. Yes class. So we have obtained the symbolic form for all four of them. And what do you observe here? By looking at the symbolic form, the first one is nothing but the conditional statement, that is P implies Q form. After that, the next one, negation P implies negation Q. It is nothing but your inverse form. Yes class. While the next one which you observe, that is Q implies P, is your converse form. Negation Q implies negation P. Yes class, it is contrapositive form. So now you have the name for all these forms. And class, you studied in the previous module that conditional and contrapositive are equivalent. Yes, can you observe this? That P implies Q is equivalent to negation Q implies negation P, and therefore first and fourth are equivalent. After that, you observe that Q implies P is equivalent to negation P implies negation Q. That means converse and inverse are equivalent. That means second and third are equivalent. So what do you obtain here? First and fourth are equivalent, second and third are equivalent. So class, if your statement 1 which is conditional and fourth is contrapositive and they both are equivalent statements, therefore first and fourth have the same meaning. Understood? If they are equivalent, they have same meaning. After that, second is inverse, third is converse, and simply we know that inverse and converse statements are equivalent and therefore second and third have same meaning. Understood class? So here what do we obtain is first and fourth having same meaning, second and third having same meaning. This is how you get the answer for such type of questions. We'll solve more questions based on logical equivalence in our next modules. Till then, thank you.